Well, good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me today on the Morning Watch. I am coming in a little bit later than I normally do, but I had a doctor's appointment, so I had to come in. So thank you for your patience with me. It has been an amazing week. I am just so um, thankful for what God is doing for us in this season, how He's opening doors, how He's preparing a way. And, as we are digging more into His Word and understanding what He's saying for us and doing for us, you will be able to see that God is just moving in such a mighty, such a powerful way. And so as you come in, like, share, make sure you share it to someone share it to your page. Today I just wanted to talk to, I put as the title today, excuse me, I'm just going through. Excuse me, I'm just going through. And I was reminded of Psalms 23. And in Psalms 23, verse 4, he said, "Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. For you are with me, your rod and your staff, they comfort me." And see, many times we find ourselves going through, and in the times of going through, Miss Thomas, I'm getting there. Erica, I'm getting there. But God is able. God is able. And so, I woke up this morning to some really heartbreaking news. But God is still able. He will still be our rod and our comforter. He will still be the one that's there with us. So thank you for asking, Erica. I'm well, and I wanted to say, excuse me, I'm just going through. What does that mean? Yea, though I go through the valley of the shadow of death. It never said that my location would always be in the valley, that my situation or my circumstance will always be in a place of wilderness, in a place of where I'm going. Good morning, Miss Edith. But yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death. And I want to talk to you all today because you're going to have to let some people know in your season, excuse me, I'm just going through. Now, I don't expect for you to understand what I'm dealing with. I don't expect for you to understand or even to be able to assist me in getting to where I need to be. But excuse me, I'm going to take a moment to allow God to work on me. Excuse me, I'm going to take some time to really stop and say that I'm going through something. I'm not okay. But guess what? God is going to take me through this. He's going to take me through the pain. He's going to take me through the heartbreak. He's going to take me through the wilderness experience. Excuse me, I'm just going through. See, sometimes you have to let people know because everyone is always expecting the strong one to be okay, expecting the ones that are always strong to be there. But today, I want to talk to you about understanding that your wilderness experience, that your valley of shadow of death is not your permanent location. It's not where you will reside forever. It's just a temporary situation. It's just a temporary place that you're going to go through to get to your next. See, you can't look at your whole life on a temporary situation and make a permanent decision about it. And so today you may have to say, excuse me, I'm not going to make any decisions right now. I'm not going to even try to justify what I'm feeling right now. I'm not even going to try to explain or articulate to you what I'm going through. Excuse me, I'm just going through. Meaning I'm not stuck in that place. I'm not stuck in the brokenness. I'm not stuck there. This is just a temporary situation. And if we understand that there are going to be temporary situations that you're going to have to go through, but it's not your permanent location. See, I'm reminded of Jesus in Matthew chapter 4. And he said, After the Holy Spirit came upon him, it was the Holy Spirit that led him into the wilderness, led him into a dry place. See, many of us are fighting our wilderness experience, and the truth is that the Holy Spirit is leading us into that wilderness place, leading us into a place where it seemed like everyone has walked away from us, leading us into a place where it seemed like your heart is broken, leading you into a place. Why? Because there's something that you have to get out of the wilderness. It's in the wilderness that you are shaping. It's in the wilderness that you understand. Just like David, when he was in the wilderness with the sheep, oh, he was selected to be king. But it's his wilderness experience that allowed him to know that the Lord is my shepherd. I shall not want. He will make me lie down in green pastures. He will lead me beside the still waters. Why? Because I experienced him in my wilderness place. I experienced him when I was in a place that looked like it wasn't going to prosper. When I was in a place that looked like it wasn't going to happen. Excuse me. I'm just going through. Excuse me. I'm just going through. That means I'm moving. It may not be a sprint. It may not even be a step. You may be in a place where you are just scooting by. But I want you to know that you are still in movement. See, when David wrote the Psalms, he said, yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death. See, I have to remind you that a shadow is something that is because of the way that the sun is shining on a object which casts a shadow. I want you to understand that the SON is shining upon you. And you may look around and you may see the shadow. But know that the shadow is there because of the casting of the sun. What the sun is trying to get you to go through. What the sun is trying to, what Jesus is allowing you to see. Don't despise your going through. Don't despise your wilderness experience. Don't despise your valley in this season. Because in your process, in your movement, in the way God is calling us in this season to trust him, even when we can't trace him, to trust him, even when we don't see him, to trust him, even if you don't feel like it. See, it's something about, and when people say, trust God even when you can't trace him. But I want to remind you of something for those of us in the old school that used to trace over a picture. But see, once we finish tracing over the picture and we lift up the picture, now, if you was really old school, you may have had a carbon piece of paper that was laid in between the paper that you was tracing and the paper that was underneath. And so as you was tracing on the image on the top, what happened was the image came onto the clean sheet of paper. Why? Because there was a carbon sheet that was in between that allowed the residue to stick to the page of what you was tracing before. See, when we say, God, I'm going to trust you even when I can't trace you, you don't have to lift up the paper to understand that even if you didn't have the carbon paper in between, that when you was tracing the object or tracing the picture, whatever it was you was tracing at that moment, when you lift up that paper and the paper that was underneath, you may not be able to see a picture. But if you take your pencil and you rub it across the page, the same image is going to rise up. The same image is going to show up. You can even do it if you're writing on a piece of paper. If you press hard enough, when you flip the page, it may look like nothing's there. But when you take that pencil and you rub it across the page, what you had written before will still have the image, will be on the next page. What does that mean, prophetess? It means you may not see him when you flip the page, but God is always there. He's always there with you. He said, I will never leave you nor forsake you. That even when the tears are falling from your eyes, I'm still there. Even when it doesn't look like and it doesn't feel like, I'm still there. Why? Because his word says that I will never leave you nor forsake you. And see, this week we've been talking about so much of who God is and what God is doing in our lives. We have to remember that God is the same yesterday, today, and forevermore. So if he could be there for the 3 Hebrew boys who was in the fiery furnace, he will be there for you. If he could be there with Jesus in the wilderness, he will be there for you. If he could be there for David when he was fighting the lion and the bear, he will be there for you. Why? Because he's no respecter of person. He's no respecter of person. So you may find yourself in a situation. You may find yourself today with your heart broken. You may find yourself today not really understanding what to do or how to do it. I want you to remember that this is just a temporary situation. So don't make a permanent decision about your outcome right now. Trust God. Trust God. Trust God. Because God knows the appointed time. God knows the appointed place. God knows what you're going through. So you may have to just take a moment and say, excuse me. No, I may not be smiling, but I'm okay. I may not be able to come alongside you right now, but I'm okay. I may not be able to walk you through what you're going through, but I'm okay. Just give me a moment. I'm just passing through. I'm just passing through this dark season. I'm just passing through this season of lack. I'm just passing through this moment of despair. I'm just passing through the relapse and the addiction. I'm just passing through. This is not my temporary location. And when Jesus was led into the wilderness at his weakest, because he had been fasting for 40 days and 40 nights. And it was at his weakness that the enemy came trying to now tempt him. That the enemy came trying to make him make a decision off of where he was at. Well, if you are the Son of Man, then turn the rocks into bread. If you are this, if you are that. See, we have to understand that even in our wilderness, we got to hold on to what the word says. Even in our wilderness, beloved, we got to hold on to what the word said. The word says weeping may endure for a night, but joy will come in the morning. See, there's going to be seasons where you're going to have to push through no matter what you're feeling. No matter, even though your heart may be broken, even though the shock of the news may be overwhelming, you have to continue to push through. Why? Because it's in the stuckness, it's in the stagnation that you become bitter. It's in the stagnation that you become nasty and mean. See, if there's a pond and there's no flow and there's no movement, there's no current going through, that pond is going to become stinky. That pond is going to become infested with parasites and infested with bugs, and it's going to be infested with things, and it's not going to smell well. How you doing, Mr. Jeffrey? But you have to remember, it's in the movement. Even if it's a little current that's running through the pond will always stay refreshed. Why? Because there's a movement. There's not time for something to start getting buried, something to cling on. See, if we don't allow ourselves to go through and not stay in the location, because in that stuckness is when the anger comes. In that stuckness is when the infestation of anger and pain and resentment and regret starts to grow. That infestation of the things that have been laying dormant is starting to grow. Excuse me, I'm just passing through. And see, last night when we was talking on Bridging the Gap, and I was talking with the grief coach, Yolanda, we was talking about the movement. See, don't despise if you have to put it in reverse. Because for us that are drivers, we have to understand sometimes you're going to have to put the car in reverse so that you can go forward. But if you stay stuck in a place, the cars are going to blow. You're going to be in a traffic jam. Why? Because you have not allowed yourself to move. I want you, beloved, to go through. Don't make your residence in depression. Don't make your residence in doubt. Don't make your residence in lack avenue. Continue to press through. Continue to move. Because yea, though you walk through the valley of the shadow of death. Now, when we look at that, Psalms 23 verse 4, he said that you walk through. That means there's still a movement, even in a place that seems dark. There's still movement in it, even in a place that is confusion. There is still movement. See, he could have said, yea, though I lay in the valley of the shadow of death. Yea, though I plant my feet and don't move in the valley of the shadow of death. But David understood, I'm walking through this thing. I'm going to come out on the other side because I'm walking through this. So you may have to tell somebody, don't look at me now. In my situation, don't look at me now. In my brokenness, don't look at me now. In my lack, excuse me, I'm just going through. Excuse me, I'm just having a moment. But I'm coming up out of this. There's joy in the morning. I'm not allowing myself to stay in a stuck place. I'm not allowing myself. And see, you may have to tell someone else so that you can remind yourself of what you're going through. You know, I used to have a friend, and whenever we would get together and I would talk to her about something, I had to remind her, I don't need you to say anything. I just need you to listen. I just need to have a safe place where I'm able to speak out what I'm feeling, speak out what I'm going through so that I can hear it out of my mouth and I can release it out of my mouth, but I can hear it in my ears and I'm able to now decipher and understand what I'm going through. So I don't need you to say anything in this. I just need you to allow me a space to be able to say what I'm going through. That's right, Miss Edith. Joy comes in the morning. See, but David understood that even in the shadow, I'm not going to fear any evil. Because he understood that you are with me. God, I know that you're with me. God, I know that you would never leave me nor forsake me. God, even with the tears that may come down my face, I know that joy is coming in the morning. I know that you are my Prince of Peace. I know that you will give me a wisdom, that you will be my peace that passeth all understanding. Because right now people are looking and they don't understand. How are you smiling in this season? How are you praising God in this season? See, so many people are watching you and they know what your life is going through. They know what your situation is because everybody's watching. So they know exactly what you're going through. But yet they're wondering, Why do you have joy when all hell is breaking loose? How can you smile and lift your hands when your car just got repoed? How are you praising God and worshiping when your children are out in the streets, when your finances are depleted? How do you have a smile on your face? Because I'm reminded that no matter what I'm going through, I'm not going through it alone. No matter what it may feel like, I'm not doing it by myself. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. Lord, you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. See, people may not be able to give you the right words in the comfort. People may not be able to tell you how to grieve and how to get through your situation and how to overcome. But the word says that your rod and your staff will comfort me. That even if nobody calls me, even if no one checks on me, even if no one is there to tell me it's going to be okay, God, you are always there with me. So look around, beloved. Look at your situation and say out loud, excuse me, I'm just going through. Meaning I'm not going to be in this place always. I'm not going to be in this place always. I'm just passing through. See, sometimes I have to go through the valley to get to the top of the mountain. Sometimes I have to go through the valley for the things that need to die off and the things that need to be removed can be removed in the valley, that when I get to the mountaintop, I don't have as much weight. I'm not carrying all my mess. I'm not carrying the pain. I'm not carrying the brokenness. Why? Because I released it in the valley. Don't despise your wilderness experience. Don't despise when it does not look like your ends are meeting, because God is still faithful. God is still faithful. God is still faithful. So let yourself know today, I'm coming out of this. Now see, I don't know what your this is, but only God knows exactly what you're going through. And beloved, I stand with you today that you are not alone in your journey. One thing that I know for sure, that somebody is either entering into that wilderness, in the middle of the wilderness, or coming out on the other side of the wilderness. But as long as you keep moving and faint not, I promise you, beloved, that you will come out on the other side with joy. You will be able to have a testimony to tell someone, this is what I went through. But I don't want you to look at what I went through. I want you to look at how God has brought me out of it. I want you to look at how God's hand was on my life, even in the worst times of my life. But God gave me strength, but God gave me peace, but God gave me the anointing, but God gave me the joy, but God gave me what I needed to get on the other side. Yes, it is the unspeakable joy, Jeff. Yes, Miss Ann. You're going to come out on the other side shining. Why? Because we understand that this is just a temporary situation. You know, I saw the other day where Mr. Jeff said that he had a flat and he didn't have what he needed to change the tire. He didn't throw the whole truck away. He understood this is just a temporary situation. But see, because I know that God has put people in my life and in my path that will be able to assist me. He was able to call up a friend to come help him change the tire so that he can keep moving to where he had to go through. See, it was a temporary thing, but he was able to overcome it. What is the temporary thing that's trying to set you back? Because I'm sure Mr. Jeff had somewhere to be. I'm sure he was on his way somewhere when he got the flat tire. But he may have been delayed, but not denied. He still was able to make it to the location that he needed to make it. Why? Because help came to see about him. Beloved, your help is on the way. Jesus is the answer. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. Excuse me, I'm just going through. Excuse me, I'm just going through. See, the children of Israel, they preach all the time that the children of Israel had to go into the wilderness because of the murmuring and complaining. But if you read the word, you would understand that it wasn't because of that. It was because when the spies went in to the land of Canaan, the land that was promised to the children of Israel, when the spies came back, they didn't believe. They saw themselves as grasshoppers. So they doubted God, who has opened up the Red Sea, who had gave them so much, who had showed himself mighty to them. But they didn't believe. And so God said, all the ones that's with you right now that didn't believe me when I said that I had a land prepared for them, a land full of milk and honey, because they allowed someone else to discourage them into believing that I'm not going to give them what I said I was going to give them. This generation will not be able to see the promised land. So they walked around the wilderness, the same mountain, for 40 years. Why? Because the doubt had to die. The disbelief had to die. The ones who didn't believe had to die out. And the generation who's been told about what God did, the generation who was walked through, that was told how God kept them when they was at the Red Sea, how God kept them in the wilderness, how their shoes didn't fall apart. See, it was those who now understood and knew who God is and knew who God what did for them was able to go over into the promised land. Beloved, just believe. Even in your valley, just believe. Even in your pain, just believe. Even in your situation, just believe. Because God has made a way where there seemed to be no way. If he told you that you're going to get it, if he told you that you're going to have it, if he told you what was going to transpire, trust him, believe him. See, I said earlier that I woke up this morning to some heartbreaking news. But I'm reminded of the words that Apostle Janice whispered in my ear and told me when she came to the conference. What God has showed her a vision of where I am going and what I am to do. And when she gave me a hug and the transference that happened, see, I'm sad, but I remember that God allowed her to speak the word that I needed to hear in the season that I needed to hear it. God is still faithful. He is still God, even in the valley, even in your sadness, even in your brokenness. Trust God today. Show up even when you don't, when your heart is broken, even when the tears want to fall. Show up. God is amazing. Show up. Excuse me. I'm just going through. This is just a season, but this too shall pass. Excuse me. I'm just going through. So, beloved, today, I just want you to know, hold on to God's unchanging hand. No matter what it may feel like, no matter what it may, hold on, because He's right there with you. He's going to get you through. Each and every time He's going to get you through. And so I will not be on Saturday and Sunday for the morning watch, but I will see you back here Monday, 8 a.m. Set your alarm, call your friend, let them know to be online so that we can walk the morning watch together. I love you all. Have an amazing, amazing day. Have an amazing weekend. Listen, I'm here in Romania and it's supposed to start snowing tonight and snow for 24 hours. So me and Mr. Pilati will be probably secure in the house because we're not going to be able to leave because of the snow. But God is faithful. God is faithful. So you all continue to trust the Lord. I'm here for you. Reach out to me if you need me. Continue to pray for me as I'm praying for you, and we will trust God. Excuse me. I'm just going through. Yes, Miss Jeffrey. Thank you so much. I will be. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You all have an amazing night, an amazing day. Bye-bye.